So recently, the Chief Justice of India endorsed the idea of a national-level recruitment process for the judicial services judicial services for all states on a national basis. Now, he said that the time has come to think of national integration by having recruitment to judicial services which crosses, and I'm quoting him, narrow domestic walls of regionalism and state-centered selections. So I have two questions in this regard. One is this a good idea? And second, and to the point that you made about the higher judiciary, shouldn't something like that then be in place for the higher judiciary to make sure that the vacancies are filled up in time so that the selection process is more fair rather than an ad hoc kind of thing? And then, of course, the judiciary in India, the legal practices judiciary in India is changing. As you said, why don't you get more people from law firms? You have so many young, dynamic individuals. Then there is this question of women judges. And that's something you have pointed out. We barely have 13%, 10 to 13% in the high courts of India. We have 788 judges, out of which about 105 or 7 are women. So we've got a number of these, different questions.
So, Arjun, I'll take the last thing first because that's something which I've been, working on for quite some time. So, when we talk of women judges, you see in the lower judiciary, where the appointment is purely merit-based. And when I say merit-based means there is an exam and there is an interview, and on that basis you select people. So, anybody has a choice of applying and being considered for that appointment. So, in a merit-based selection, we have more than 33% women in the lower judiciary. In the higher judiciary, which is not merit-based, you have this percentage of 13%. And Supreme Court is now less than 10%. It's about 8% down. We have only 2 more remaining now. So one Justice Seema Kohli just retired. So there is definitely a lack of the will to appoint women, to the higher judiciary. So when whenever it is talked to these people, they always retort by saying that you people are not engaging, women in your offices. That's not the point at all. The women are there in the system. They may not be in my office. Although, incidentally, in my office I have, but otherwise they may not be in law offices. But they are in the system. They are in law firms. And a lot of the women lawyers are doing exceptionally well in law firms. Because, by their very nature, the kind of work that they do in a law firm, because our hours are crazy.
Right.
We can work till midnight or sometimes 24 by 7. So law firms is an easier job as far as women are concerned. And we have some brightest minds there. We have women in the lower judiciary. So you are not trying to look at them at all. And because you are not trying to look at them, this is the percentage that you have in the higher judiciary. So you can't say that women in this country don't deserve to be elevated to the higher judiciary, or that you have to wait for them to be picked up by lawyers in their offices and then only they should be brought into the higher judiciary. According to me, I don't agree with that at all, because recently they have justified a lady from a law firm to the Delhi High Court recently. And they have said the same thing, that she's got a good practice, she knows the law, she's a domain expert, she's got a good return of income. And even though she's quite young, they still have recommended her. So if you want to do for a particular individual, you do it. But there is no system to regularly look at similar kind of people. So if this particular girl was known to somebody in the collegium because of which he picked her, well and good. I have nothing against that. I mean, if she deserves it, she definitely needs to be elevated. Yeah. But the system of picking people only whom I know, I have a huge objection.
Right. So you're saying it needs to be institutionalized so that we have proper procedures in place, and also we look at a diverse, range of individuals in various fields of law. Let's come to what the Chief Justice of India said about a national judicial service rather than the state. How does that work?
So as far as the National Judicial Service is concerned, firstly, that is not in the domain of the Chief Justice of India.
Precisely. So he says the time has come to think about.
So it's a very good thought, no doubt about it, but it has to be by a constitutional amendment.
And that's also, would that be infringing on the state's right?
No, so if it is by a constitutional amendment and if the proper procedure is followed for doing that amendment, it will not infringe any state right, and I think it's a very good thing to happen. And I take this forward to your suggestion that this should also happen for the High Court. Why not? If you are creating a database of lawyers to be picked up for the High Court as well. So what is the criteria? So you have a 45 year as the minimum age. You can specify a particular return income as the criteria. You can also specify a particular number of reported judgments as a criteria. And then today, the way information technology has, pervaded our country, you can pick up those names in the entire country and have all these people who qualify in these three aspects, and then try find out the good ones. But that exercise is not done ever. Nobody is interested in doing that exercise. And if you do that exercise, you can also have a similar all India selection for the higher judiciary, like you have for the IAS, and also have outsiders or insiders, and that will provide a very good national integration feel. Like in Supreme Court, we have a very different feel of the judiciary, because we have one judge from Karnataka, the other one Andhra, one from Bihar, very diverse. So that kind of national integration, but that's not so in the high courts. High courts, you will find a judge from outside working in a particular high court as a punishment,
right?
Which is also not correct, because if he's bad in his own parent court, why does the transferring
some of them are seen as punishment books?
Transferring court, why does the transferring court suffer that kind of a judge? So these are all issues. Obviously, when you transfer somebody because of a serious issue of corruption, or because you feel that he is not fit to be a judge, or because his temperament is not correct, obviously there was something wrong when he got appointed.
Right.
And that is where you have failed in that sense.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this clip. As you know, we are taking a deep dive into some complex issues and decoding them for you. So don't forget to check out more content on our channel. And also, we'd love to hear back from you with your comments and your suggestions. So let's explore together.